Ding ding! Welcome to Connect the Dots. It's another episode. Even though we look the same, it's because the whole thing last week was so interesting, or I would say the recording was so interesting. We need to bring back the second part. In fact, we'll be bringing more of Mr. Hamzat to the show so that we can learn more stuff that will make us continue in the paths that we want to see change in our communities. And again, this is a podcast that brings people from various walks of life. It can be business, politics, they can be activists, social campaigners, whatever it is that they're doing and they're thriving well in. People don't know the true story about people's successes. They just see that this person is making it and they see them on social media and feel like it was an easy thing to do. There is nothing that is good that comes easy. So that's why we're bringing Mr. Hamzat Lawal back to you today to speak to us about, or to continue the talk about the journey from Boy Scouts leader in primary school till this point that he is in his life. Welcome back on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So we stopped at talking about your stints with, not even stints, your whole work with Not Too Young to Run and other projects that you're doing. And Not Too Young to Run became a success and you were doing other things. So after Not Too Young to Run, what were the things that you delved into immediately? I'm sure that there was a time I saw something about you doing something about SDGs and taking care of some things around women and girl child and all of that in Northwest. I think I saw Kano and other places in it. Can you brief us about that?
Sure. So I informed the post-2015 development agenda, but around the SDGs, for me, I took it upon myself to localize the SDGs and make sure that it is entrenched in national development, but also the grassroots understand the SDGs. When Malala was coming to Nigeria in 2017.
17, yeah.
Yes. So Malala reached out to me and said, "Hey Hamza, I want to have dinner with you." I was like,
wow.
Malala want to have dinner with me. Okay. So we had dinner at Transcorp Hilton where she was staying with her father and the Malala Fund team that came to Nigeria. Had about 2-3 hours eating dinner. I actually made her to eat jollof rice with plantain and goat meat.
Wow.
So she was asking me for advice. So yeah, just the Nigerian jollof, add plantain by the side and go for goat meat. And interestingly,
it was good.
Don't tell her I tell you this.
She will see it.
This is on record. So I made Malala eat the jollof rice with her hand. Because I told her it was going to be sweeter than using cutlery. So she and her dad ate jollof rice with their hand.
Wow.
I'm that way. But so my relationship started, so me and Malala became friends and we agreed to work together to accelerate girl child education, ending early child marriage and taking any form of abuse to girls and women. And we started with the Northeast. So we started in Zamfara with Adamawa State. Mm-hmm. And in Adamawa State, why Adamawa State is because the governor had committed that his development agenda, the first priority is tackling insecurity, second is education. And for me, I wanted to measure up how he's investing in education, how he's reducing the numbers of out of school children, and how he's also trying to end girl child marriage and creating safe spaces for girls to learn. And I've been doing this for the past 2 years, working with the government and people in Adamawa State. And with the Canadian High Commission, we're getting support to work in the Northwest. And we took Kano because Kano, for me, is the center of northern Nigeria.
Absolutely.
If you do a campaign in Kano and it's successful,
it will be successful every other place.
Take it everywhere in the north. So in Kano, what we're trying to do is domesticate the Child Rights Act and the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, that's the VAP Act. So I met with lawmakers, so the speakers and all the principal officers of the Kano State Assembly. I even took the former Canadian High Commissioner, Nicholas. I took him to Kano. So we met with key stakeholders in Kano, got political commitment from them to domesticate this act and get the governor to sign. We even got the governor to make commitment that once it's domesticated by the House, he was going to commit and he was going to sign it. Wow. And so that's the work I've been in for over a year now in Kano State. And now they're trying to even domesticate it and put it under the penal code. Because the penal code is existing. So what they want to do is merge the VAP Act into the penal code. Because culture, tradition and religion are the fabrics of what defines how Arewa engages. So,
absolutely.
And so that we're also careful and respect their
culture, religion
norms. We're also educating them and saying, okay, we're not here to force anything to your throat. We're just saying, how can we work to keep
Together.
girls safe, keep women safe, and ensure they get justice. So now we're now building a mass action against sexual and gender-based violence, and now we've created another movement called Gamma.
Gamma.
Yes,
What's the
Gamma
full
is
meaning?
Gender mass action against sexual and gender-based violence in Africa.
In Africa.
So what we're doing is we're educating young women. Because for me, I've said to myself, I'm an advocate, a campaigner, and an activist doing so many work, and also now a global citizen. I can, as much as I speak for women and girls, I do not really feel the pain that they go through.
Definitely.
And a lot of people call them victims. No, I say that's derogatory. They're survival. That's empowering.
Absolutely.
So for us, we're mobilizing and empowering them. So that now all we have to do is create enabling environment, create spaces where they can even advocate for themselves and use themselves as examples. So it's more empowering and it's encouraging. Because a lot of women and girls do not speak about the abuses they've gone through.
They don't.
Because they think society, they will be stigmatized.
Definitely. Society will stigmatize them, and there is always this problem that whenever there is any case of rape, maybe abuse, molestation, especially rape, it will be like, no, don't say it out. Your daughter will not find a man to marry and all of that. It's so sickening.
Yeah, so we're trying to change that
narrative
and mindset to get them to speak out and also create safe spaces for them. And so they can also share their experience, and we can mobilize more women and girls across Africa, because this is an endemic across the continent. And if you look during the lockdown, there was a spike on sexual and gender-based violence. There was a spike on early child marriage, because a lot of people were poor, they just needed to fend for their family, and they were giving out girls,
their children
for marriage, and these children were being abused by older men. So this is one thing I'm really committed to. And ensuring that I don't only speak for women and girls, I get more women and girls to speak for themselves and amplify their own voices themselves and mobilize other women and girls.
That's really great. Well done. We pray that Allah give you the strength to continue on this path. It's really a good journey. But every beautiful journey, there must be challenges. And I'm sure that you've encountered a lot. Even though you've said one that looks like a challenge, but at the end of it, it was a good thing at the end. And the person was like, oh, it's a good person for the community. Let the person be. What are those challenges that you faced? I know that there are lots of them that maybe apparently sometimes make you feel like, can I continue on this path or something?
So I would share one of my darkest moments. In 2019, I was depressed. I actually, faced depression, in the sense that in 2019 I was really successful career-wise. I won the SDG award. I won the Future Africa award. I traveled across the world in 2019. I was meeting world leaders. Career-wise, I was doing well, but personal-wise, I wasn't happy with myself. What happened was that partners that supported me from the beginning pulled out their support, and I took it as a failure. That, maybe I have failed, I've done something wrong, that's why I lost that partnership. Because for me, it wasn't about the resources, it was about the relationship. Because for me, I'm heavy in investing in relationship. And so when I lost that relationship and support, I went into depression. At that time, I didn't even know I was depressed.
Wow.
I didn't even understand depression.
Because it's not something that we talk about, especially in northern communities. Depression is not something you should talk about.
So I didn't understand it. At night, I can't sleep. I'll be looking at the ceiling. I'll be having very terrible thoughts about even harming myself.
Oh my God.
I was... But daytime, when I go to the office...
You're normal.
I was okay. I was smiling, doing my meetings, doing my activism. But at night, I don't have appetite. I cannot sleep. I was having panic attacks. I was just going through a lot. But one thing I learned from it is, 1, keep breathing. 2, keep smiling. And 3, keep moving. Because it's just a phase.
It will pass.
It will pass. And when it passes, you become more empowered.
Yeah.
And then and depression comes and goes. So it's not just a one-off thing, or it's different moments that comes with its own challenge. And so for me, as I go through life with all the challenge, with all the paparazzi and all the recognition and awards, I just tell myself that it's a phase. I need to live past this phase, but I need to also ensure that I speak to someone.
Yeah.
Because when you speak to someone
you
trust
get
and someone that
sort of
genuinely
relief.
loves you get 50% relief, and you just continue to talk to the person and just express how you feel, and that comes, it gives you that it eases the tension and it helps you recover.
Yeah.
So that's one of my best moments. But one of my biggest challenges is managing people.
It's really a difficult.
It is crazy.
It
so
is.
We have a lot of young people who wants to be Hamzat Lawal, but they don't want to pass through what Hamzat Lawal.
Yeah, they don't want to put the work.
I don't want you to even pass through what I pass through, but you must have some level of commitment.
Yeah, absolutely.
You must have some level of discipline.
Mm-hmm.
You must have consistency. Because in life, one thing I've learned is you must be consistent.
Yeah, if you're not.
You can't be a master of everything, or you can't be a jack of everything and a master of nothing.
Nothing.
So you must be consistent, you must show courage, you must show focus. So my biggest issue is, this crop of young people who, they want the fame, but they don't want to put in the work. They don't want to be patient to learn. So that's one big challenge for me.
It is.
And for me, what gives me sleepless night is what becomes my legacy. Because I know in this world, someday what had a beginning would have an end. But I don't want my name to go into extinction. So for me, I'm working and ensuring that I build a legacy.
Yeah.
I build a name around, or a brand around my name, but a legacy that informs, because I want to follow the money, connected development, to live and stand the test of time.
Mm-hmm.
And that even if I'm no more, these institutions continue to strive. And now I'm transitioning, I'm 35 years old, and that's why I tell people, don't call me youth. Yes, I'm young, but don't call me youth. And now I'm saying, maybe I should explore politics. Why? I want change.
I was going to come to
change.
that.
I'm hungry for change, but truly, change only comes politically.
Yeah.
In Nigeria, if you want to truly make change, you must be part of the political process.
Absolutely.
And now I'm thinking and I'm looking at the political environment and say, maybe I should endorse a presidential candidate. Because I've built influence,
yeah.
I've built fame, and I have millions of followers.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are asking me, so Hamza, who should we vote for? And in my mind, they're waiting for me to tell them who to vote for. So why not use that to build political capital and engage with all of these front runners and say, okay, do you want my supporters to vote for you? What are you committing? And how many young people will have a seat on the table when you become elected? So I'm exploring this, but I'm also thinking of going back to school to do my master's, to do my PhD, because I want to be called Dr. Hamzi.
Yeah, definitely. I know that you should be, because I wouldn't even think about that you're not even done with masters. I currently think apparently you're on your way to being a doctor, but it's not all about the certification. That's what I believe, because if you had pursued like more of certification, maybe you wouldn't be where you are today. And being the change that you want to see, you need to sacrifice some certain things. Well done. So now let's go back, because I was going to come to the point that, do you get calls from people to delve into politics?
Yeah.
And I really want you to be there. But the political landscape or the political scene in Nigeria is kind of porous, will I say, saturated with people without ideas, people that are not committed to bringing change, people that don't even care about the people. It's just their personal interest and all of that. So if you're going to delve into politics, where are you going to start from? Because I'll be interested, and I know a lot of people too will be interested.
So in 2019, because President Muhammad Buhari signed the Not Too Young to Run bill, and that day when he signed at the villa, he also made a statement saying we should wait until 2023. Let him run second time in office. So in 2019, there was so many interests. People came to me and said, okay, you've made a name, you're popular amongst young people, they trust you, they like you. We want to even support you and have you run if you want to run for House of Rep. So I got 3 or 4 people who were saying they were going to pay for my campaign to be a federal lawmaker. But for me, I told them that being part of the Not Too Young to Run was a selfless act of service to humanity and to my country. So if I run for office, so it would be as if there was a selfish interest
from the beginning.
So I said, no, I was not going to run. This was about the young people and creating a space for them to run. So
you are also young.
Yes, so I'm not going to run. But and as we go into 2023, there's also interest from people saying, okay, would you like to run? Would like to support you. I had a few, I did a few dialogue and I did a few consultation, with some political actors. I said, you know what, I would run now. Maybe I'll run in the future, maybe I'll be on the ballot in the future, but I want to inform the process from the party. So that's why during the party elections, I was an observer. I got accredited. My organization got accredited.
Yeah.
I was on the field observing the primaries. What informed who becomes candidate. And I've been speaking to people around the various candidates, and some of these front line runners, some of the candidates have spoken to me. They reached out to me and then they've spoken to me and they want my support. And so I'm still consulting, I'm still talking to different groups, different youth group, to say, can we consolidate on our effort? Can we have a consensus? So maybe as we go into 2023, maybe we can inform what becomes the youth consensus candidates.
Oh, wow.
So, but again, politics is negotiation. And like you rightly said, it's a murky water. They say, oh, politics is dirty waters. But I say we need people with values.
Yeah.
We need people with credibility. We need people with ideas that can change the world and change Nigeria. So for now, I'm trying to change the narrative that we all should become political actors. Yes, we might not align with any political party, but what is important is to remain patriotic and put Nigeria first. And talk to these people and decide amongst them who we believe would lead us. So I'm in that conversation. I'm leading some of those conversations. But also later, in a few weeks' time, we're converging all the young candidates across Nigeria. We're bringing them to Kano. Okay. We're saying, you are across all the parties. You've won and you're the flag bearer of your party. Even as young people, let's network. Know yourself before you go to the other state assembly or the House of Rep. Start building alliance. Start making relationships, because in life, relationships take people further. So that's what we want to do as Not Too Young to Run movement. Also build their capacity on effective campaigning, effective messaging, how to win elections, bring resource persons, but most importantly, let them network. Because most of them have not gotten a platform or an opportunity to even interface with other candidates. So for us, we're saying, come together and as much as maybe two people have from different opposing views want an office, but first you're Nigerians. So, talk to yourself and you want to serve. Isn't politics about service? So either of you win, it's about service. So it's not about any selfish interest, but most importantly, share.
It's not a do or die.
Yeah, it's not do or die. Let's as young people even start forming what becomes an ideal political scene as we go as we grow older, as Nigeria become entrenched into democracy.
Wow. Thank you. And this is something that is commendable, because unfortunately there is no good networking among young people. They just want to run, and they are using a kind of system that the older people are using to, okay, it's about our interest, and then once this person did not win, there is going to be the opposition thingy. It should be like a healthy rivalry, even though you're going to do anything like that. Okay, now, so we're talking about changing the narrative, and you spoke a lot on a lot of things and the change we want to see. Especially me, I don't know about other people. I really want to see a change, and people like you in politics. And like you said, politics is a murky water, especially in Nigeria. And you're doing a lot to bring young people together, to network, to see, like, you need to put the work. It's not about the instant gratification kind of. Now, on a personal ground, even though you're not going to run in 2023, let's say, what are those things you think younger people can do to get to that position that they're supposed to get to and be able to work together with the older people? Even though we know that it's a different ball game with the older people, what do you think, or what advice would you give to them aside this networking thing to change the narrative and be able to contribute their quota without putting, what I will get first?
So this year's theme for International Youth Day interestingly talks about intergenerational solidarity.
Okay.
And what that means is to work side by side, hand in hand with older people. And for me, I'm an advocate to say, yes, we want more young people in office, not that we want to retire old people. I believe we can learn something from them and they can learn from us. And for me, first, as young people, my advice is get a skill. Get a skill in anything. But a skill that brings value, that adds value. You can bring change and you can bring service, not only via politics. I brought value and changes through humanitarian activism. To get a skill that brings value, value that stands the test of time and contributes to changing the lives of people and service to humanity. Also know that you must remain patriotic. It's about your country. See, I've traveled around the world. I've traveled to over 40 African countries. I've been to all the continents.
Wow.
People relate to me first as a Nigerian.
Before anything.
Muslim, not as a Christian. Not as someone from the north.
Or the south.
No, they relate to me first as a Nigerian. So what it means is the value I take to the world it also reflects on my country.
Absolutely.
So we must become ambassadors, good ambassadors of our country. And represent our country in a light that brings about respect and recognition.
Yeah.
And also, ideas are what is needed to change the world.
Yeah.
The world is run by ideas. So what are your ideas? And don't keep them to yourself. Speak about it. Share your ideas with people, because ideas is what would mobilize people and bring about that change. So sell your ideas, share your ideas, but have skills, values, and become good ambassadors.
Yeah.
And I say that values is because the fabric of society is breaking. We don't have values anymore. Now we're talking about vote buying and vote selling.
So
talking
sad.
About rape. Issues that have really broken our value system. So as a generation that talks about solidarity, we must rebuild this value system that brings about what informs our legacy as a generation. So what are we learning? What are we doing? And what would we hand over to the next couple of generations coming behind us?
Oh, wow. That's great. You spoke about sharing ideas, and a lot of young people are on this table. They've got maybe beautiful ideas that need someone else to look at it and give it an icing on the cake, or a group of people to see it and give an icing to the cake. But they feel like someone will steal my idea and all of that. So that fear. How do you think we can tackle that and make young people understand that if it is your original idea, no one can steal it? They can steal it, but they cannot execute it the way you conceptualize it.
When I started Follow the Money, a lot of people said, "Oh, I had this idea," and then I asked them, "What did you do with it?" They said they didn't do anything. I met 100 people say, "Oh, I had this Follow the Money ideas." And we need to understand that God is not selfish with ideas.
No.
God drops ideas, one idea in a million people's head across the world. What is important is how you take this idea and how you make it come to fruition. And I tell people that if you have an idea and you share with someone and the person goes ahead and implements it, the person can never implement it
the exact way.
Because you that have the original idea, it's the passion that leads you. This other person, he's led by selfish interest. So even if they steal your idea and they implement it, go ahead and implement your original idea. And you'll be surprised that God would ensure you get grace. Because God looks at the heart.
Yeah.
He doesn't look at, what you...
The outward thing.
Yeah. So for me, as a young person, you have an idea, don't be scared to share it. And mind you, if you keep it, you're not the only one that have that idea.
Absolutely. Someone else somewhere.
And when they start, you can't start because it will be as if you're trying to duplicate.
Absolutely.
But what I also tell young people is build your idea around people. If you get the right set of people and you build your ideas around it. So Follow the Money is successful. Code is successful not because of me.
Alone.
Because I worked with a group of young people. Not too young to run is successful because we worked together as young people. So we must say that we're working to contribute our own quota in changing the system and bringing about service, bringing about justice, fairness, and equity. So if you have that kind of mindset, you shouldn't be scared. But also look at people that you look up to. Again, you see in society, when you look up to someone, yes, maybe you don't have access to these people, but technology have brought each and every one of us closer. If you send a DM to someone and you're very nice with your words, you're very straightforward, not that you go into DM and say hello. No, go straight and say, "Hello, I followed you for 2 years. I have this idea. I think that you're the best person to help me shape this idea. I just want you to listen to it or read it." And these people will respond and give you an email or even say, "Okay, drop it." I know I do this. I'll say, "Drop your number." Yes, I'll block my number and then I'll call you. Okay, I can have a conversation with you. But you must show some level of commitment and courage. Not that you come to the DM, "Hello, I have something to tell you." But you're not communicating.
You're not communicating.
What is the something? Say the something, So if you look up to people, let them know. And you can have mentors digitally in the public space.
Absolutely.
But how do you engage? Not that you come into DM or you're abusing on the timeline. Because sometimes when people DM me, I go and check the timeline. What are you posting?
Absolutely.
If you say you're a humanitarian, you're passionate about children, are you talking on your TL about issues that affect children? Or you're just doing basketballs? You're dragging people on Twitter. So as young people, let's use this platform to promote positivity, unity, and share knowledge and information. Because if I come to your TL, that's your timeline, and all you write is just nonsense, I won't respond to you.
Definitely. I'll do that too.
Yeah, so
whenever someone message you, DM, you just check them out before you give response.
You need to understand that we live in a global village.
Yeah.
Where everything you do, you think it doesn't count on
you're leaving your digital footprint.
It does. So as young people, be very careful how you engage and what you tweet or post on social media, you know, because you don't know who's watching.
Absolutely. Okay, so now in all of this, let's go back to family. Family is very key and essential to our daily living for us to become better people, and they shape a lot of things about our lives. I know that what you're doing is a lot, and it will definitely affect your family in both positive and negative ways. I pray that the positive outweighs the negatives. So maybe before you get married, it was easy, but now that you've got like your family, I know you travel a lot, the time, how do you balance the work you do, the family, taking care of the family, and every other thing in between?
So before now, my work was my biggest priority, but right now, family is my number one priority, and I say this in every sense of humility. And I know I tweeted recently and I said, I find fulfillment first in being a husband and being a father. So I have 4 children, you know, and I have 2 wives. I practice polygamy. I know it's weird to a lot of people, but yeah, you know,
it's weird to people who are not Muslims.
So yeah. And for me, this is one of my biggest fulfillments. And I try to ensure that I build a close tie and relationship with my wives, but with my children. So I have 4 boys. So that's a replica of myself. So it means I must also instill in them values that would even outlive myself. And these are my legacy, because anything they do in life would reflect on me. So if they do something good, they will always reflect, oh, they have a father who was a good person. So for me, I've tried to ensure that I create a strong bond with each and every member of my family, my wives and my kids. And with technology, yes, there's a lot on them because they don't get to see me more, often. But I ensure that I speak to them every day. I even have, I created a song for each of my child. You know, like I wrote a song that, you know, it stays with them. Yes, they're children, from little kids, they're not even talking, but when they hear my voice and when my wives play this song for them, you know, they know that I am close by, even if I'm busy doing stuff. And even as they don't talk, I still explain to them why I'm not always at home. You know, anytime I'm at home, I drop my phones, and I bond and spend time with them and get them to connect with me, because that's how they can be open with me, share with me their challenges, and I can become that father that they look up to. Because I want my kids to see me as a model. You know? So definitely. That's why anything I do in life, I always ask myself, would my children, would my wife be proud of me if they hear about it?
More important.
So for me, family is really important. I can give and leave everything just for my family.
That's great, and it's something to look forward to. Family is really the big fabric of our society, and they shape us. They're the first point of contact, and if you don't give them the best, they take that out, and that's what they continue on that part. So one aha moment that you would not forget, whether your work, your family, one moment that...
I think it was when I won the SDG award. I wasn't expecting to win it. I was in Bonn, Germany. The finalists, I was one of the finalists. So you had someone from Philippines and another person from France. And when they were making the announcement, they announced me from Nigeria. I was like,
wow.
It took a while
for you to
so they had to literally
digest.
push me to go to the stage and collect my award, because I was overwhelmed, and it was really an exciting moment for me, my country, and my work.
That's great. Let's go to the other part. Is there any moment you feel like, no, I'm done, I'm not going to push anything again?
I think when I was depressed, it was really a dark moment. You know, I wanted to give up everything, you know, because I was having even suicidal thoughts and whatnot. So
what pushed you out of it?
I speaking to my mom. You know, just opening up and speaking to my mom. And you see, speaking about family, because my mom didn't know, but because of the family ties, so my wife figured there was something wrong, but she couldn't place it. So she reached out to my mom, because I have a special relation with my mom. Then my mom came to have a conversation, and that's how I started recording.
Opened up. Yeah. That was really great, and it's been really a lovely conversation. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And lastly, your words to the younger people in Nigeria, especially now that we're approaching the campaign period, and then 2023 elections, which is much more like a dicey situation. And we know that a lot of things going on, people permutating and thinking about who to talk to. There is no better option and all of that.
2023, and my message to young people, 2023 should be a celebration of democracy and transition. President Muhammadu Buhari is winding up his government, and you know, election is a platform for us to decide our future and take our future into our hands. So for me, it's a phase. Don't get carried away. What should come first is your country. What should come second is people, and what should come third is service. So ask yourself, and the faith you believe in, are you doing these things? If you're not doing it, then you're losing it.
Thank you so much. This is really a wonderful conversation, and we hope to bring Mr. Hamzat back on the podcast really quite soon, because I know there are lots of things for people to learn from what he does, from family, and I know there's just too much to share, and time would not permit us to keep talking and talking. Many thanks for joining this episode of Connect the Dots. We'll be bringing more people to share their stories, their challenges, the moments that they feel like they want to quit, and the moment that they feel like, oh, I can't quit for nothing because I've got a lot to give back to people. Many thanks, and see you again. Connect the Dots with us again next week.